gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, man, Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air on a Monday here in the Quad Cities. Thank you so much for joining us. It is February 17th, a Monday morning, President's Day, of course. So once again, my kids aren't in school. I don't think they go to school. I think they go to school like every couple days a month, it seems like. So they're running around. Hopefully they don't bother us too much today because we got a lot to get to. Coming up on today's show, as always, I'm going to start calling Mondays Always Angerer because Pat Angerer will join us in a matter of moments with God knows what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be a fun time. So Pat Angerer in a matter of moments. Also, it was a big weekend of college basketball. The Illini with a struggle on the court and off the court. We'll talk all about that. Plus the Iowa Hawkeyes get hammered in the second half at Maryland. So there's nobody better to talk about Big Ten basketball than former Iowa great and college basketball color commentator Jess Settles. He'll be along in just a little bit to break down a busy weekend in the Big Ten. And then also it's that milestone type of year, or time of year, I should say, in high school basketball. And it was a record-setting week for Noah LaPorte out in Princeton. He became the school's all-time leading scorer. He's going to play football at Northwestern, and he leaves Princeton as one of the best basketball players ever to play for the Tigers. So we'll catch up with him. A very charismatic young man coming up in hour number 2 of the show. And also my youngest, Carson, is off school. He really wants to be on the show again. So we may have Carson come on and talk about how my wife cleans and fixes toilets later on in the show as well. If you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe as well and like it, rate it, all those kind of good things. The show will be up on podcasting platforms right after we get done. So if you're watching this and you want to listen to it later, it'll be up on everything, including Apple Pods, in just a little bit as well. And I believe we're streaming on X right now. I have no idea. We kind of figured that out this weekend. We're kind of playing with it. We may be, we may not be. So you may be watching us on X, and if you are, we appreciate that as well. Hoping to add the live Facebook feature coming up in the next couple days as well. We're doing a whole bunch of different things here on Off the Air, but it's Monday, and we're going to talk to this young man right here. Pat Angerer right now joins us from your basement today.
Yeah, I'm just like you. I've got kids that are home from school, and my wife is working just like you. And so us deadbeat dads got to escape to the basement just to get our lives together, our minds together. Sometimes I sneak down here just to get an escape and maybe jot some stuff down, figure my life out.
Jot some stuff down. Like you have a journal or a diary or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I do journal, and I do some poetry randomly.
No, you don't.
Don't make fun of me. I'm opening up to you here. All right. I'm in a
right.
very vulnerable state.
All right. Go ahead. Nobody's listening. Trust me. Nobody's watching. Trust me. We're good.
Oh, dude, I'm not going to share. I'm not going to share any poems.
So you do poetry?
I do. Yeah, I do some poetry.
Do you just random things that come to your head, or
I'm so upset that I even brought it up.
No, don't get mad. Now that you brought it up, you almost have to read something. Like I am picture it being like roses are red, violets are blue, Dazzo's good at basketball. What am I going to do? Something like that. Like that's off the top of my head too. That's really good. I just shared one of my poems that I just made up. Come on.
That is actually really good.
It's Monday. It would get people's weeks off to a good start. I can even take a close up of the one shot here if you want to read something. So,
you won't judge me. You won't judge me.
Who's going to judge you, Pat? You're in a safe place. This is, oh wow,
Nice.
you do.
I mean,
All All right, I'm gonna be
Let me
quiet.
see which.
I'm gonna be
Hold
quiet.
on.
I'm a
Let
little
me
worried.
find a good one.
I'm scared. A good one. You have a lot of them. That's a thick binder. That's a thick notebook.
It's all poems. I'm really nervous here.
It's okay.
All right. This
Just
is
hear me.
one been working on this one for about 10 years.
Wow.
Okay. This one says, Joe Conklin is so hot, no doubt about that. Don't laugh. With a smile that can melt the sun, in fact. His hair, oh my, it flows like a stream. One look into his eyes and you'll be living a dream. He's rolling in riches, living the high life, gold-plated toothbrush, with Allie as his wife. But despite all the cash, he's humble and sweet, a charming billionaire with style on repeat. I don't know, man. Is that good? I don't know. I
I
just
don't know if I'm crying because of the emotion. That's beautiful, man.
I'm really vulnerable and I'm really opening myself up to you guys.
That's really
Um,
good. That's really good.
can
And
I
like,
can I
what do you
redeem
think?
can I redeem myself? I got one more.
Yeah, you
I
can.
got
But
one
what
more
do you
good
think?
one.
Joe has to hear that and just think, "Wow, like that's a friend
Yeah.
right there."
10 years. 10 years that took me to figure out the words. And it's still a work in progress. I
All
mean, there
right.
is no wrong or right when it comes to art.
I think that's what people say. There's a shirt that should say, "There is no wrong or right when it comes to art." Do you
Yep.
got another one? I feel like you do.
I do have, yeah, I mean, this one's a little personal. Um,
Oh
I believe in
Jesus.
the law of attraction, right? So you write it down, you speak it into existence. Like I believe in that. So I want to make sure we're still in a no judgment zone.
No judgment, Jonah.
Okay.
I actually mute my microphone when you go to do this. So
All right. So this one, I'm just so nervous.
I can tell.
Matt Randazzo lost to Pat and Horse. What a scene. Missed shot after shot. His skills were so mean. Pat's jump shot was magic. Matt just tried to guess. Now he's stuck with a challenge way worse than stress. His punishment, a shave, bald as a peach. His clippers buzz loudly. His future out of reach. The worst part came staring at his whiskey glass when his wife stood up and said, I'm done with your ass. Matt, I love you, but this has gone too far. You can't beat Pat, and your lovemaking is subpar. She shook her head, gave Matt one last glance, left him with a bald head and no future romance. Matt's learned his lesson, or at least that's the case. Next time he'll aim before he's a clean-shaven disgrace. Don't make fun of me. These are really personal poems.
His love You got to
Listen, dude, I put a lot of work into those. All right, and it's hard to just open up in
his
front of in the
his
yeah. It's
love
tough.
making subpar. Is that what it said?
You know, sometimes you're just looking for rhymes. You know,
I'll take it. I'll take subpar. Are you kidding me? Sign me. Why don't we do this poetry stuff at the end of your segment, not at the beginning? Oh, that's outstanding. Could you share poetry with us every week? That would be, I mean, maybe.
well, we'll see. I mean, you know, that first one took me many, many years to
What
to
did
find the
what the
words.
second one take you? Because I feel like the second one was longer, and it couldn't have taken you 10 years.
Yeah, that just kind of came to me in a dream. You know,
Well, God bless dreaming. Oh man, that's really good. That's a great way to start my Monday. You know, the funny part is my wife's birthday's on Wednesday, and she never watches the show. I may tweak that and give it to her as her birthday present. You know, that would work, wouldn't it?
I think so. I mean, that's better than what we usually get our wives.
Well, that's what I honestly have on my list of things to ask you about. What do I get my wife for her birthday?
I think what you do is you just you leave her alone and don't talk to her all day, and she'll appreciate that. I think.
I think that's what I try to do most of the days. So like that wouldn't make it any different than anything else. Because
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one because they'll say they don't need anything, right?
mm-hmm.
But you got to get them something.
Yep.
Oh
Plus,
gosh,
it's more the
take her
kids
out,
got to
take her
get
out to
them
a nice
something.
dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that she would hate that because then again she'd have to spend time with me and converse with me and all that kind of stuff. That's no good. We like to take the whole family out to dinner, and I don't understand that.
No,
Like my birthday will come around,
that's
and my wife will be like, "Well, we all want to take you out to dinner," and I'm like, do I want to sit in a restaurant and yell at my kids for the next hour while they can't figure out what they want to eat? And then I got my younger kids who think that they can not eat off the kids menu. And so they're
yeah.
ordering meals more expensive than my own. I feel like I end up with a salad because, well, I don't, because God knows I don't eat any salads since I get carried away. But anyways, do me a favor. Think of some things that you might, that I can get my wife. Text me.
Okay.
Don't say it on
I'll
here.
yeah.
Or you can
Give
if
me
you
your.
want
How
to.
about this? Send me your credit card number, and I'll get her something, and I'll send it over.
I'm telling you, I might just have you write her a poem. You could make money with this thing. You could make money with this thing because
There might be a
people
little
could.
AI. There might be a little AI involved.
No, no,
You're
don't.
right. I'm all natural.
Yeah, don't. Hey, you got to go with. You got to run with this thing as long as you can. Hey, how was your weekend? Now that we got the sappy side of Pat Anger out of it, tell me how shitty your kids were at basketball.
Oh, yeah, we were up in Ames. By the way, they have the best facilities. It's their complex. I can't remember what it's called. It's unbelievable. It's really nice. But that's the only nice thing about Ames. Everyone else is weird. The people are weird up there. Um, but yeah, we lost every game except for the last one, which is good. You end with a win, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but it's weird, like with baseball, the majors, the AAA, like they tiered out pretty good. You're playing pretty similar competition. With basketball, I think they just let you sign up for whatever division you want. So like there were teams in a lower division than us that beat us all year, and then they didn't even win their division,
Mm.
and we just got murdered. Our kids just don't know how to play basketball quite yet. They're all wrestlers; they don't know it yet. But once they figure out basketball, they might be all right.
Were you this seventh grade? Is that the son we're talking
Yeah.
about? So you're
Yep.
done coaching. You didn't coach this weekend.
No, I didn't coach. No, didn't
Do
coach.
you think that might have been a reason why you guys didn't have a lot of success? I don't want to throw your real coach under the bus, but
Yeah. No, I literally know nothing. All I did the last time I coached was make them press the whole time until they could barely breathe, and that didn't really work out.
um, I played basketball this weekend, Pat.
Still got it, don't you?
No, I'm now
Oh, so
worried.
you're putting in the work. You're
No,
practicing.
no. So a friend of mine, Andy McKay, they've been playing for years, and I started playing a little bit last year. My son and I go. So you're looking at it's just a pickup game of basketball, and there's like probably 12 guys there, and there's almost somebody from every. There's like my son's 15, the oldest guy's like in his 60s. My buddy Andy's like 61, but then there's like a 25-year-old. There's like a 30-year-olds. So it's weird because like it's a little bit of everything. But what I realized, I played for like an hour and a half straight, up and down.
Oh
If
gosh,
I was
that's impressive.
if I was playing horse, I wouldn't have made enough shots to get to horse. Like I think I made
Well,
three
that's what I'm
shots all
saying.
day.
That's what we might have to play pig
We might.
just to get it over with.
Well, just because like, and I didn't shoot it as much as I like used to back in the day. But Pat, what's wrong with you when you like, you know what you want to do, you envision it in your head, you're like, okay, I'm gonna dribble this way, cross over, and then hit the shot, and then your mind has it, man. It's like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, but then like your body doesn't do what it's supposed to do. What the hell is that called?
Yeah, I had that my fifth year in the league, so that was tough. That's why I didn't have a fifth year in
Yeah,
the league.
that's why you got
You
fired.
know, it's funny. Yeah, I was talking to one of the dads over the weekend, and he's like, middle school sports, it's just the puberty Olympics. It's you've got one kid on your team that's gone through puberty, and then he's against the other kid on the team that's gone through puberty, and it's just whichever kid that's gone through puberty is better than the other, and that's basically all it is. And whoever's got the most kids that have gone through puberty, they usually win. But then, like where we're at, it's the opposite, right? Now we've got the age issue in there. We've got we're not knights in shining armor anymore.
That puberty Olympics thing is spot on. Like that is
Yeah.
exact. It's funny. It goes. I can remember when I was younger. I won't say a guy's name, but he was the biggest kid in like 5th grade. We're like, oh my gosh, this kid is like 5'11". He's 6 feet tall. And like if you saw said kid today, you'd be like, oh, he's 5'11", 6 feet tall. Like he's been the same size since. And then you got like somebody like myself. I was probably 5'4", 5'3" when I went to high school. And now I'm a chiseled 6 foot specimen. You know what I mean? Like just handsome, tall, dark, and handsome. All that. It's weird how like that's a huge difference on what happens and what doesn't happen. Why do you go to Ames?
I remember all the kids.
Go ahead.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
I remember all the kids in middle school that were the best at football because they had all gone through the change. They none of them ended up playing in high school. I was like a receiver.
I don't think it's called the change anymore, Pat. I think that's
or
a totally
whatever,
different thing
puberty,
nowadays.
whatever the hell it is. Gosh.
So just we gotta.
I read my poetry to you. All right. I don't need you coming at me.
I don't want you to get in trouble. You already showed your sensitive side. I don't want you to misspeak and get canceled or anything like that. Why Ames? Why in the world did you go to Ames, Iowa? Is it like the state tournament?
I think they always, by the way, it sounds like my kids are in a street fight upstairs, so
Nice.
that's good. Yeah, they have the state tournaments are always up there.
Okay. Did you watch any television or anything this weekend? I'm a big Saturday Night Live guy. And so I'm catching up with it because I had to do a few interviews last night and I had some basketball later in the night, or not later than I wanted to be. Not that we won or did anything well, but just later scheduled games. So I'm catching up on SNL 50. Did you grow up a Saturday Night Live guy or kid?
Oh yeah. Well, I like Mad TV too. I was a big Mad TV guy. But yeah, Saturday Night Live. I just like to giggle, Matt. I like to giggle.
I understand. Giggling
I
is
love
fun.
giggling. Oh, it's great. But I got home. I didn't get home till like 8 something last night. My wife had it on, so watched a little bit of it. But the kids were obviously all excited that their dad came home.
That must have been.
They haven't seen me for a couple of years, so I couldn't really hear much. But I heard Adam Sandler's little bit or whatever on there. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I love when they bring the old guys back. I heard listen to Bill Murray. Bill Murray was
He
hilarious.
He did a top 10 best hosts for Weekend Update. And it was great.
Yeah.
And Colin Joust was sitting next to him and he was waiting to hear his name. And then of course he wasn't on at all. But they had, do you remember Drunk Uncle from a Weekend Update?
I don't remember, but they had him on. I saw that.
He was great. There was one, it's like the girl you don't want to get caught talking to at a party. She was on and fantastic. They did the old Robert Goulet sketches with Will Ferrell. Do you remember those? Goulet. He'd be Robert Goulet.
Oh yes.
It was that was really good. There was Black Jeopardy.
I gotta go back.
Black Jeopardy was hilarious because I'm going to mess up the guy's name. The actor that's actually used to be on, or still is on SNL. But then Eddie Murphy was there as playing him. So he was playing the guy. It was great. It was outstanding. So take some time to watch it because if you like to giggle, and God knows you're not going to watch your kids this afternoon, it's 3 hours and it's really well done.
I'm in. I am sold.
Do you have a favorite era of Saturday Night Live?
I'm a big Chris Farley guy. I liked it when he was on there. I miss that guy. So many good laughs watching him. Gosh.
No,
that was a good era. That was a really good era. They've had some good stuff recently too. Some really good stuff.
Yeah, no, and I'm a sucker for the Weekend Update stuff. I think maybe being in TV news, I kind of
Gosh,
chuckle with it.
when they write the jokes for each other, dude, It's so good.
It's
There's nothing better.
it's a great excuse to say whatever you want to say. It's like a roast. It turns into a roast because you can say whatever you want to say because you're not saying it, you're just reading it. So no, it's really good. Do you remember the Norm Macdonald stuff when Norm was on Weekend Update? He had
Norm
such a dry,
Macdonald,
awesome.
that guy.
He was so good.
Oh, that guy is amazing. Sometimes, his videos will pop up on my Facebook all the time, and I'll go on like a Norm Macdonald just deep dive, and it's just he's the dude.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It happened to me
And very-
yesterday. I did that deep dive yesterday because he was fired from SNL, and then a year and a half later they asked him to host it. And his monologue, go watch his monologue today from when he hosted it. He goes,
Yeah.
I obviously haven't gotten any funnier. The show just really sucks, as you'll find out. It was just, he was so dry and funny. He was great. He was great.
I love it.
No, it's good stuff. Did you watch the dunk contest? You probably didn't because you're up
No,
in,
but
in Ames.
Yeah, we were, after that night, you sit with the parents in the lobby and have a couple cocktails, and that's
You get
kind
drunk
of
with the
what we
other
did. But
parents.
no, well, I wasn't. I got to a good point, and I went to bed, which
Attaboy. I'm
was
so
good
proud
for
of
me
you.
because usually my wife's like, "Hey, stop it and stop doing this and go to bed." But
Hey,
I'm mature enough now
I'm not going to let
with my
you.
poetry.
You're not going to give a bad impersonation of your lovely wife on this show. I refuse to let you do it. She doesn't sound that
No,
way.
what I'm saying is she always knows what's best for me.
Yes, that's true. Well done. That's a great save. That was well done. So, anyways, you went to bed. You didn't do anything dumb. Go on.
Yeah, I saw some highlights. That guy, what the boys are saying, he's got more slam dunk championships than dunks in the NBA,
Yeah,
which
he
is
doesn't
impressive.
play in the NBA.
He's
like in the G
seems
League.
kind of illegal. Yeah, he still gets checks.
Mac Clung or McClung. I'm gonna mess it up. I gotta look. But
I
anyways,
think you're right.
He's 6'2".
Same.
No, he jumped over a car,
Well,
Pat. Like, what are we
give or
doing
take.
here?
Jump over a car. Anybody can jump over a car.
Not a Matchbox car, an actual car. I
Yeah,
can't
it's
even
impressive.
get over the Matchbox. No, it was super impressive. I didn't get to watch it as much as I wanted to because I was catching up on Saturday Night Live. Go watch the concert thing they did on Friday night.
Yeah.
They had
So do you spend any time with your family, or you just
No,
watch TV?
I was catching up on that when everybody went to bed on Saturday night, so I missed the slam dunk contest and everything like that. The remaining members of Nirvana. You've seen this online, haven't you?
No, I haven't. No.
Post Malone and
Oh,
the
Posty.
remaining members of Nirvana did "Smells Like Teen Spirit." It was
Oh,
amazing.
heck yeah.
It was.
Well, I saw when
amazing.
Post did the concert when he did like a online thing with Travis Barker and all them, and he did some Nirvana songs. I saw that. Post is impressive. He is extremely impressive with what he can do.
He's a super talented
and
dude.
it's kind of like, I don't know, for me, like I grew up, like I'm from Iowa, like rap music. Slim Shady came in, started liking Slim Shady, but like the country, like the rock, and like the Nirvana, Pearl Jam, all that stuff, Nine Inch Nails. Like I think he's a lot like most of us, where like if it's good music, it's good music. I like it all. Like I'm not just gonna get stuck in with one genre of music.
Are you a country guy? You don't hate country, do you?
No, I mean, I like the old country a lot. I like Lil Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, the Highwaymen.
You don't
But
like the new
I also
country?
like. No, I do. I
Okay.
do. If it's a good song, I like it, man.
Yeah. Well, that's, I think, the thing. When you're young, I mean, at least when it was when I was, like, you get, like, if this wasn't cool, like, you couldn't like it. And you just have to listen to it.
Yeah.
And if it sounds good, like it. It's like, and we've talked about this, probably shouldn't talk about it on here, but when it comes to what you drink alcohol-wise, like,
Yeah.
if I want to drink a fruity seltzer because it tastes good, I'm going to drink one. And I should
100%.
if it tastes good, drink it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're drinking something. Everyone's like, "Oh, what a wimp!" You're drinking that. I'm like, dude, it tastes really good. Like, why? But I like whiskey
That
in a glass with some ice.
doesn't
But
taste bad.
that's just yeah. I mean, it tastes really good now. It's kind of my thing now. But it took me a lot of bullying to get to really appreciate a good bourbon.
I can't believe we've gone this long without talking about your friends down in Champaign, Illinois. And I know you went to the University of Iowa, but you have a soft spot for the Fighting Illini. I know
Yeah.
you don't, but how do you hang up a jersey upside down?
Yeah, that's tough to do. I tell you what, though, that AD super impressive for him to get in front of it, take ownership. That's just an unfortunate deal, and it seemed like was it Shannon who was the
Yeah,
player?
Terrence
I see.
Shannon.
Seems like he handled it very well. I mean, he was put in a tough situation, and he handled it very maturely. And I mean, what else can you do in that deal? But yeah, it's unfortunate, but they're still honoring him, and I'm sure they're gonna rectify it and fix it.
Okay, that was the very diplomatic response. As an Iowa fan, aren't you laughing your ass off on Saturday night that or whenever you see that Illinois hung up the damn banner upside down?
I will tell you that would never happen in Iowa.
They
I
don't
will
they
tell you
don't hang
that.
enough of Could you imagine? Could you imagine though?
Oh
A couple
gosh.
Sundays ago, they go to honor Caitlin Clark, and all of a sudden the thing's upside down. Can you fathom? Like Joe Conklin would probably lose his job.
We would, even though it wasn't Joe's fault, we would blame him. We'd make fun of him for about it for forever.
And that's the thing about down in Champaign. You're going to get made fun of about this from opposing schools forever, as you should, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what did they do when they hung your banner at Alleman?
Well, no, I do have 3 C League banners at the Delp
Oh,
Dome
that's
at the
what.
gym down there by Western Illinois. This is not a joke. If you go to that gym, it's East
I
Moline
won't.
Glass owns it, but the good guys work out there. They always did. But we put my buddy Todd made banners, and our names are on it, and it literally says C League, Bettendorf C League champions, East Moline Glass, and then has everybody's names on it. I will send you a picture
It
of it. It's
doesn't.
one of the
It doesn't
dorkiest things I
count.
got.
If you have to make your own banner, it doesn't
No,
count.
of course not. No, of course not. No, not at all. If that would be, are you not? Do you not have a banner anywhere? Ooh, I almost said something I could have gotten away with.
Uh-oh.
No, do you have any? Because weren't you on the side of Kinnick for a year or whatever? Or no?
Yeah, I was on there. I don't know. I don't know where that went. I don't know.
Why
I didn't
were
get
you
that.
on? Why were you on there? Because you were an All American, or why?
I think so. Maybe they felt bad for me. Like, hey, let's cheer this guy up a little
But it
bit.
was a big ass banner. I mean, it was huge, wasn't it?
Yeah, they put big banners up there. Yeah, it made me look tall, so that was cool. But
But
yeah, that was many years
where is
ago. I
that
don't even.
now? Like,
I
why
have no.
isn't that in your
I don't know.
yard? You should put that in your
I,
yard.
I haven't. Oh my goodness, what is going on upstairs?
Yes.
Oh, oh Jesus.
Yes.
Well,
It's okay. Nothing out of sight, out of mind, Pat. You got about
uh,
5-10 more minutes here. You're good to go. You got
there's
this.
no crying. No, I don't know. I got a plaque for the Quad City Sports Hall of Fame at it's not John O'Donnell Stadium, Modern
Modern
Woodman,
Woodman Park, yeah.
Modern Woodman Arena,
John O'Donnell
Arena
Stadium.
Park, whatever, whatever it is. And then I probably you probably go to the website. I'm something for the Iowa High School Hall of Fame, but now Bettendorf doesn't like me. I'm
You're
nobody.
wearing a Bettendorf sweatshirt. Bettendorf loves you.
No, we had to buy this one, and then they got us in trouble because we used the Bet logo for our youth. So they tried to cancel us. The administration at Bettendorf tried to cancel us for using the Bet. They don't. They used to not like when the youth would use their logo, which is they have a lot of common sense at Bettendorf. But luckily, we fought for it, and now they allow the youth to use the Bettendorf logo. It's
Yay.
a big deal. Who would have
Who's
thought? Who would
we?
have thought you had to fight for your kids that go to the Well, some of the youth coaches and the high school coaches and some people on the school board. Finally, we talked some sense into them.
Good for you. See, you're changing lives, not just
Yeah,
through
Bettendorf.
poetry,
Yeah,
but through this.
there's not a lot of common sense at Bettendorf, so it's we're working on that.
All right, we'll get there. Get there. Before I let you go, there was hockey this weekend as well. I know we
USA,
don't talk a lot
baby.
of hockey, but it was hockey versus
USA.
Canada. USA wins, but Pat, there were 3 fights in the first 9 seconds.
Love it, dude. Don't mess with us. Don't mess with us. This border war here. Yeah,
Have
we
you?
I did I didn't watch the whole game, but I just saw us punching them in the face, which was great to see. I love that. I love that, man.
Yeah. Like,
Can
and
you imagine
it's
fighting on hockey skates?
no, I can't
Gosh.
imagine walking or skating on. I can't stand on hockey skates. Have you played hockey? And I got to ask you about this. Have you played hockey?
I mean, no, no. I mean, I played get rollerblades when we were younger, and Mighty
No.
Ducks was a big deal, and we'd go play hockey. But yeah, never on ice.
Have you ever ice skated?
Yeah, yeah. No, we went up to Bettendorf's got a good little ice skating rink up in Middle Park. We took the kids. The kids are terrible at skating, and it really hurt my feet, but it was fun. I felt like
The
I couldn't stop.
No, I did it one time in college because a girl wanted to go on a date there, and anytime a girl was going to want to go on a date with me, like, I'm
Yeah,
in.
you're gonna
Let's
do
do it. I don't
whatever.
care what we'll do.
Yeah.
Want to shave your head? I'll shave my head. If you're going on a date with me, I don't care. Like back then, it didn't matter. And I felt bad because she had skated before, and then so I was like her. Not her date, I was more like her son, where she was like guiding me around, holding my hand, making sure. It's hard, man. It's not easy.
It's really hard, and they make it look so easy when they're skating backwards and hitting the puck and all that stuff. It's impressive.
So the US Canada thing, like, is that the new rivalry now?
Well, my thing is like, in order for it to be a rivalry, they got to beat us.
Oh, all right.
I'm just saying,
I
we beat
like
them
that.
3-1. Like that's an ass kicking, and we beat them in a fight.
Yeah. I don't even care about the scoreboard. We punched them in the face 3 times in the first 9 seconds. We win.
Yeah,
Um,
I
the
love
good
I love that they were ready to go. I love that they were ready to go.
No, they were ready to rock, and they came out swinging. Good news for you. This morning, if you want your kids to like behave themselves, or if you're bored, if you're not watching Saturday Night Live, which you should be, the Iowa women play today at 11 a.m. against
Let's
Ohio
go.
against Ohio
I
State.
love
They've
that.
won 6 straight, going for their 7th straight victory, playing really good basketball right now. And I know you have a soft spot for the Iowa women, and obviously their head coach as well.
Yeah, they're playing really good, man. They're so much fun to watch, and we will definitely be tuning in. For some reason, I'm so unorganized today. I had no idea,
Yeah, I
so
didn't know
I'm
either.
looking forward to watching.
I didn't realize it till later, or earlier this morning. My son told me that. I'm excited. You can't see it, but I got a monitor behind the camera, a TV, and I went out and I got another TV because that's all my house needs. So now I have 2 TVs. No, stop. I can't watch TV
I mean, I've
on
got
the
money.
monitor. So now I can actually, when I'm here working throughout the afternoon and putting stuff on social media, I can't wait to put your poems on social media. Oh my Lord. I can't wait to put those things on social media. Oh, they're so good. They're so good. Talk about getting numbers and getting hits and traction and all that kind of stuff. That's going to do it. Iowa men's basketball team didn't too good yesterday, Pat.
Yeah, it's probably my fault because we were on our way home from Ames when it started the second half, and we were winning until I started listening. So that's my fault. I'll tell you what, though, it was good hearing Gary Dolphin's voice again. He's back, kicking butt.
He's such a trooper because that wasn't like a little thing, was it? Like he's battling some stuff and he's right back rocking and rolling. I don't want to say what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he wants everybody to know what it is or whatever, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah, and I don't know if he wants it, but yeah, it was an injury that yeah would definitely put a lot of people down for a long time, and the dude's a beast.
he is. He's awesome. I love your analysis of Iowa basketball because it's always very short and sweet when it comes to the men's side of things.
Well, hey, you know what? Hey, they're still playing hard and they're still fighting. It sounded like it. It sounded like I didn't watch it obviously, but it sounded like they were still scrapping and they haven't gave up and they got a good group of guys that are hopefully gonna finish strong.
All right, before
I don't know what's going on upstairs.
I'm going to let you go because I don't want you to have kids dead. But are we going to play basketball this week?
Gosh, possibly. I mean, I obviously can't do it today because I got 12 kids.
See what happens,
And
guys.
Hopefully, I have all of them. I wanted to play last week. You said no.
It didn't happen.
Or the week
That's
before.
Not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
So
But yeah,
what's a good day
play.
this week? What's a good day this week? Here's the thing
I don't
on
know.
my end.
I gotta look at my schedule.
I have to get people to record it.
I'll play
as well.
at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Obviously you're going to piss off dozens of people who expect this show to come on every single day.
And full of people.
Yeah, dozens of people will be at PepsiCo really upset with you. I got to get somebody to shoot it, and so we can put it all together. But it is going to happen, and I think it's going to be hair versus. Are you going to stand on a corner and with a sign that says I lost? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'll do whatever.
Okay. I don't think that's not a ringing endorsement, but we'll get it figured out this week. Hey, go check out your friends, your kids, and keep the poetry coming. Maybe have something different for us next week.
Thanks,
and
man.
Thank you for opening up to us.
Thanks, man. It's a safe space here, and I feel real comfortable with you and the subscribers, and I just hope these poems help people.
Well, you didn't give us an anger management this week, but I think the poems serve as a fantastic anger management for us this week. So, Pat, go make sure your kids aren't killing themselves. I'll talk to you real soon.
Love you. See you,
Thanks,
buddy.
pal. See ya. Pat Angerer, always Angerer here on Off the Air every single Monday with that young man. Reading poetry. So if you're just tuning in and you missed Pat and his poems, they're well worth it. Go back and listen to them. That was a lot of fun. We still have a lot more to get to on today's show. Coming up, we mentioned it a little bit with Pat, but it was a busy weekend of college basketball, especially in the Big Ten. In fact, 7 of the 9 games this weekend saw road teams win in the Big Ten. Unfortunately, Iowa was on the road, and they were not one of those road teams. Illinois was at home, and they were one that fell to a road team. We're going to break down all of that, the busy Big Ten weekend, with our good friend Jess Settles coming up right after the break. You're watching Off the Air on a Monday.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to OTA on a Monday. A lot to get to when it comes to a busy weekend on the college basketball courts, especially in the Big Ten. So much to talk about, so little time to do it in. So we're joined by the man himself, former Iowa Hawkeye great, and of course, good friend of the show, and currently a college basketball analyst for you name it. He's doing it. He's Jess Settles. Jess, thanks so much for joining us on what was a crazy busy weekend for you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. It's always good to be on. And I know Tommy Kakert was your first pick, but I'll humble myself and come on the show last minute.
No, you'd be surprised. Tommy's my last pick every single time. Hey, there's a lot to get to with you because this Big Ten conference is so fascinating and going into so many different ways. And a lot of times you see, the guy that played basketball at Iowa. You think we're going to talk Iowa basketball right off the bat, but I don't want to start there. I want to start with what happened in Champaign on Saturday night. And I know we'll talk about the basketball court itself, but Jess, you don't have your jersey in the rafters yet. I'm still campaigning on it. But to have a jersey ceremony and have it go up upside down, what in the world happened?
Well, somebody's in big trouble and probably going to lose their job over that. Josh Whitman was pure class when he came out and got in front of it and took the heat for it. But just a bizarre situation. How could that happen? Really damaged that moment. I know that I think people just gasp, right, when you open that up and it's upside down. It's I've never seen that before. We'll never see that again. But don't you have to rehearse that to make sure that doesn't happen?
You know what? Like, I always have that thought process of it wasn't Josh's fault, but it's one of those things, like he said, that you can't have go wrong. I thought Terrence Shannon handled it extremely well, but man, it's one of those things that just magnified a rough night in Champaign, and you simply can't get that one wrong.
Yeah, you just cannot. It's just hard to believe. When I saw it, I saw it on social media, and I thought it was just somebody messing around and playing a joke. But it was really shocking. We've never seen it before. We'll never see it again. And obviously feel bad for whoever made that mistake. I feel bad for his family that they had to go through that. And I guess long term, it's not a big deal. His kids, his grandkids are going to come in and see that. But that was very unfortunate. And then it compounded with the loss and just an embarrassing situation. But they've handled it really well. But you just can't redo those moments.
They did. They handled it well, and I think we just handled it well and professionally. But the 12-year-old Iowa fan inside of me was laughing my ass off on Saturday night. They're going to hear about that from opposing student sections and opposing fan bases and everything else, aren't they? And they should.
Oh yeah. Oh, for the rest of their lives, right? This is always going to come up whenever there's a retirement ceremony. And I don't know what the rule is there. I don't know if it's all first team All-Americans are automatically retired. I don't know if that's an athletic department decision, but I know Kofi Coburn had his jersey retired a couple weeks ago. And I know that was really important to Kofi in his decision a few years ago to come back to Illinois. If you remember, Kentucky was after him, and there were professional opportunities, but to be able to hang his jersey was very important to him. So I'm one of those fans, obviously growing up in the 80s with all the legendary North Carolina teams and Indiana teams and UCLA before that. I'm really into that stuff. I love the records. I love the retired jerseys. I like to see the legendary players come back. And some people don't care that much, but those are special moments. And you obviously had to make a huge impact on the court for your program to be able to get your jersey retired. I wasn't at the Caitlin Clark one last week, but saw some clips of that, and it just seems so special. So just incredibly unfortunate to have your your hopes so high and you're looking up into the rafters and the thing's upside down. It's just hard to believe.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. And it doesn't make matters worse or better, I should say, Jess, that they don't win the game because they were up by 16 in the first half. It was a 4-point game at halftime. Boy, you look at that Illinois team, they lose by 14. So it's a 30-point swing along the way. And they're so talented. Like, you look at players and you pick players out and you're like, man, they're good. But they struggle sometimes. They didn't score a point in the game's final 8:30. It's weird that a team with that type of offensive talent and NBA dudes go an entire 8:30 without scoring the basketball.
Yeah, that's just impossible, right? It's hard to believe. I mean, with the weapons that they have and the firepower that they have, I will say that they take bad shots sometimes, right? They force shots, and yet sometimes that overwhelms the defense as well, and they come in and crash the boards. And Brad Underwood, he's done a phenomenal job there, right? I mean, John Gross is a good coach. I've covered his Akron teams a few times in the past years, but Brad Underwood comes in and takes that thing to the next level, and toughness, whether he's playing with Kofi or Terrence or this new group of guards. But that's a very, very frustrating loss, and they're going to have to become more disciplined, especially down the stretch. But right now, if you're an Illinois fan, I mean, you've been on an emotional roller coaster that you're just trying to hold on.
Yeah. Jess, can we talk about the 3-point shot? Because, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember you came to Iowa City in the low post game, and you developed into a good 3-point shooter throughout your 58-year career at the University of Iowa. But that 3-point shot is super important. But I feel like players fall in love with it. Teams fall in love with it. The Fighting Illini, they don't shoot well from 3. They haven't all season. They were 7 of 33 on Saturday night. You're shooting the ball from deep 33 times. With the size and length that they have and the ability to get to the basket. Am I the only person that finds that super weird that a team that doesn't shoot the ball well from 3 is going to settle for 33 3-pointers?
It's just what the kids grow up shooting now. It's almost more impactful to them than the dunk. I mean, that mid-range game, post play, even some of the post players in the Big Ten who put up good numbers don't have great footwork and would rather shoot a 3-point shot or run pick and roll and drive and kick for 3-point shots. It's it's the Steph Curry effect. It's analytics. Only a handful of these kids can shoot it at the 40% level, and most of these guys are shooting it upper 20s, lower 30s, but they continue to live and die by it. You would think these are the conversations that the Illinois coaching staff's having right now, to try to figure this thing out, to try to get more post touches, play inside out. And yet, some games you get on fire and it's so exciting. And I mean, even I coach my daughter's little middle school team, and we shoot a lot of 3s. It's just the way the game has gone. I'm not exactly sure what needs to be done about it, but it's tough to be a big man right now in college basketball. I mean, you obviously have the aberrations of Zach Edey and some of these the Luka Garzas, but it's hard to get back and guard the 3. It's hard to play pick and roll defense. You get picked on a lot by the officials. You get called for moving screens, so it's almost like big guys anymore are some of them are going the football route, the baseball route, because it's just how I can't imagine it's very fun for a lot of these big guys to just run up and down the court, never touch the ball, and then watch their teammates launch 3s every time up and down. I mean, I agree with you. They've got to get the ball inside more, get some more paint touches, but I'm not sure they will.
Let's talk about the 2 coaches on Saturday night. We'll start with the winning coach. Tom Izzo, 354 wins in the Big Ten, passing up Bobby Knight. Guys that did you play against both Bobby Knight and Tom Izzo, I believe?
Yes.
So when you hear Tom Izzo, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I know him very well, but everything I've heard and the interactions I've had with Tom Izzo is class and that he does things the right way. I guess your thoughts on his record and Tom Izzo as the number one all-time leadingest wins getter in the Big Ten.
Just so happy for him and Michigan State and what they've been able to accomplish. I was there my freshman year at Iowa. It was Judd Heathcote's last season. And so Tom Izzo was just an unknown assistant coach who had, ground his way up, grew up in the Upper Peninsula, and then just started climbing the ladder. And he took over. And if I remember correctly, after the first couple years, which would have been my sophomore and junior year, I think he was only 500 in the Big Ten. And, there were, I'll ask him about this sometime when I'm calling one of their games, but I don't know how close he was to being removed. I maybe not that close, but definitely no one saw this coming. His teams played with physicality and toughness, but there was no dynasty or this guy's going to be a Final Four level coach. And then Mateen Cleaves and the Flintstones came along. And once he put that recruiting class together, then everything changed. Everything changed for the program. Everything changed for him. And they just started. I had a couple red shirts years that had to sit out, as Iowa fans remember. But I think we played them maybe in 1999 and just got boat raced. I mean, it went from those first couple of years where they're kind of a blue-collar team to where not only are they a few years later a blue-collar team, they're running the ball down your throat on the fast break and just Mo Peterson catching oops and things like that. And then right there in around 2000, I was covering my first year out of college. I was covering Iowa State with their good, I believe their Tinsley Pfizer team. And they played Michigan State in Ann Arbor to go to the Final Four. And they were the Iowa State under Larry Station and Michigan State. They were the two best teams in the country, in my opinion. It was unfortunate they didn't meet for the national title game, but Michigan State won that game, went to the Final Four, and the rest is history. And there's just something about getting to a Final Four that ignites your program that pays dividends for years and years. And Wisconsin the same way. Now Matt Painter and Purdue, if you can break through that barrier and get there. And he hasn't stopped, and I still think he has quite a few years left in him, and he's seen a lot of changes, but he continues to adapt and win.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job. I believe Brad Underwood has done a fantastic job, but Jess, in this day and age of social media, you hop on these damn phones and everybody wants, Brad out, Brad can't coach, Brad doesn't know X and his O's. I'm not a genius. I'm no expert like yourself, but Brad Underwood is he's an upper echelon head coach with what he's done with that program. Took over from John Gross when it was struggling. And now they're one of the better teams in the Big Ten for the past 5-6 years. Crazy talk, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's the response to a frustrating loss, to an emotional roller coaster of a season, and just to have instant access to get on social media and give an opinion without, many consequences. It's just the world we live in. But Brad Underwood was an assistant coach years ago at Western Illinois, and it's to drive the rural roads of Illinois, dreaming of the Illinois job. And when that came open, he jumped on it. So he's obviously not going anywhere. And what have they been? They won 4 or 5 Big Ten championships, whether regular season and tournament, and several NBA guys now, Io and Kofi and Terrence, and they've got it really rolling. But it really rips your heart out when you lose games like that and that you feel like you should win.
All right, let's talk about the alma mater because, boy, Wednesday night was fun. Iowa went on the road to Rutgers and showed a lot of class, a lot of grit, all those kind of things, and knocked off Rutgers. And they played well for a half against Maryland, and it's a really good Maryland team. And then the wheels fell off, and they gave up 101 points. They went from being up 4 at the half to losing by 26. Have you ever been in a situation like that where, it just falls apart quickly because that was really, really fast, and it's happened more times than Fran would like this year, I'm sure?
Yeah, I actually think Michigan State, put put it on us a few times in the second half back in the day, like I was just mentioning their Elite Eight, Final Four level teams where you hang around for a while, but the talent just overwhelms you. I mean, Maryland is on fire lately. I studied them quite a bit the last few days because they played at Nebraska the other night. I had the Nebraska game today that I called, but Iowa's defense just was not up for the challenge, and when the wheels started to fall off, they just could not get stops, and it's been a problem, obviously, right? There's so much pressure on their offense to come up with big buckets, and when you go up against a team that's that hot, it gets out of control. I tell you what, man, it's a helpless feeling as a coach and a player when it goes from 8 points to 14 points, and then you're trying to get it back into single digits, and now all of a sudden it's 18, 19 points. It's really, really hard to come back from that. Iowa's got the offense to do it, but Maryland right now is just carving everybody up, and they can make a deep run in March.
You look at this Iowa basketball team, and it was game number 3,000 for Iowa men's basketball. 2,000 of those you played in, which I think is pretty special. But you look at that overall. I love it. I love you. You know that. You look at that 3,000 victory, 3,000 games for Iowa basketball. That encompasses a lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of players. I know it wasn't a victorious 3,000 game, but hearing that number is pretty cool.
It really is. It's funny that I played in quite a few of those games, and before the COVID mess and the portal and the extra years, and now Jordan Bohannon and Connor McCaffrey, we can tease them as well because they were there forever, and they got plaques in the locker room of academic teams and scoring things, and they of course we're going to be on some of the upper echelons of those lists because we were there longer than anybody else. But and I need to look up and see how many times I played against Tom Izzo so I can kind of tease him about how I probably contributed to a lot of his wins, unfortunately, because I was there so long and having to hit those really good teams of his. But I'm trying to think here, late night on a Sunday night here in a hotel in Chicago. I believe the first time that I was able to step on the court in Carver Hawkeye Arena, I was on a 4-H trip with my Louisa County 4-H group when I was a kid. I'm guessing I'm third, probably fourth or fifth grade, and we took the field trip to Iowa City and the tour of Carver that everybody took. And I remember going down by the court, and for some reason, there was a ball like that. It rolled under part of the bleachers. It was a little bit flat. I'll never forget that. But a couple of us, grabbed that ball and went out and started shooting baskets in Carver. And then we got about 5 or 6 shots up, and then the security guys came out and said, "Hey, you kids get off the court. You can't be here," right? So that was my first memory. I mean, always would have dreamed of wearing the uniform. Grew up watching Lute Olson and Bobby Hansen, and those were my first memories. And that Final Four team my dad would tell me about, and then Tom Davis and George Raveling, and Tom Davis's first year, 87, the winning streak. And I went to a game maybe in there. I can't exactly remember. If I thought about it hard enough, I could, but that's where it all started. And Greg Stokes and Michael Payne and Andre Banks and Steve Carfino, and then the BJ Roy and Ed and Brad Lohaus and Les Jepson. And then, you step into the 90s and Chris Street and Wade Looking Bill and Val Barnes and all those guys. So it's just been a love affair for me for many, many years, for our family for many, many years, for the people in the state of Iowa. It's just been such a blessing. And then to be able to go there and wear the uniform, that's a lot of our dreams as Iowa kids. And it obviously doesn't hurt to be 6'8" and be able to jump and catch a basketball and run and stuff like that.
That always helps. Stuff I didn't get to do. Jess Settles joining us right now. Jess, if you're the Iowa Hawkeyes, how do you approach the rest of this season? Obviously, 5 wins in the league, and it's a different year this year because not everybody gets to go to that Big Ten tournament. It takes 15, I think, of the 18, so 3 on the outside looking in. Rutgers helped, but as we talked about before we started the interview, the road isn't easy. The schedule's not easy in the back half, especially down the stretch. If you're Iowa without Owen Freeman, with other Drew Thelwell beat up right now, how do you put this thing together? How do you keep this together? And how do you approach the rest of the way?
Well, coaches said that this is a very professional group, and they're very united. You know, they come to practice, they work hard, they're all coachable. You can see that on the court. You saw the emotion after the Rutgers game and the way they held it together, and even showing great fight on the road. You're going to have to stay healthy. I think you do reevaluate your goals, and you make it your goal to make the Big Ten tournament, which is going to be really tough to do. At this point, you're not going to be able to fix much defensively. I mean, you kind of are who you are in that situation, and your ball screen assignments, your rebounding, those things, you just have to try to come out and fight and claw and do what you have to do. But, you know, Matt, I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but, you know, big picture, it's this coast-to-coast schedule and these West Coast road trips and not playing everybody. The revenge games are gone for a lot of teams now, not playing home and home, and then some of the teams not making the Big Ten tournament. And, you know, do fans really want to see teams that have never played over the years battle? I don't know where it's all going as we get into, you know, hopefully shared revenue comes along and contracts, and because all this coming and going, I mean, there's no question. You look at teams like Auburn and Alabama, even a team like Wisconsin picks up a guy like Tanje. It can instantly turn your season into success. But it seems like most of the fan bases, most of the teams are struggling through the whole process, and it's just really emotionally draining for fan bases and teams. And when things go south, it's like the Illinois fans. It just, you know, really gets frustrating for everybody. So I don't know where this is all going, but you have to come and play with pride and wear the uniform with pride. But it's really hard when you know that 2, 3, 4, 5 of your teammates aren't going to be there a day after the season. And it's really hard when you know that there are certain guys who are already talking to other teams or being recruited by other teams. And these are the new challenges of this new era. The teams that are winning, they can get through it all, but the teams on the bottom, it's uncharted territory.
Yeah, I Jess, I wasn't eagerly excited to watch Minnesota and USC this weekend. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't one of those must-check wins, must-check games. Right. And so those are the ones that are kind of weird and kind of different. You look at Iowa this week, and they get a big homestand in February, and it's against Oregon and Washington. It's different. It's weird. I think that's the way. And we kind of talked before we started, and I'll let you go, just a couple more for you, about Coach of the Year, Players of the Year, those kind of things. And we start bouncing stuff off each other, and then you almost forget, oh, wait, you got to go out west now because there's 4 teams out there you're not used to considering when it comes to those type of things. So with that being said, I guess we'll start with who's winning this thing. Who's winning the regular season and Big Ten championship? And I guess another question, will it be one team, or are we going to share this thing with some different teams because of how close things are right now?
Yeah, that's really interesting. We were sitting around, you know, Dave Rebson and Seamus, the SID at Nebraska today, just kind of having these same conversations, and it almost gets exhausting, right? Because you have so many teams and so many players, and you'll throw out a coach and you'll say, okay, Coach Greg Gard, what a phenomenal job he's done over the last couple of years, and especially this year. And then I think I read where somebody at Wisconsin picked 12th to start the season. But I mean, what you don't even know with the portal and the transfers who's even gonna hardly be there on opening day. It's almost impossible to even pick where you're going to rank these teams. So do we put too much into that? And then, you know, Zach Edey is not there at Purdue. I don't think we expected Purdue to be this good, losing the best player in the country, the National Player of the Year the last couple of years. So Matt Painter's been outstanding. Dusty May, his first year on the job, you can't do any better than being first place this time of the year. And then Tom Izzo just breaks the all-time record, and his team's played with toughness and guts. It just depends A lot of people vote based upon if a team was picked lower and then they win, that they call that good coaching, and some just say you're there for your first year. But it's really difficult to evaluate it now because of the portal. And so I think there are still 3 to 4 guys in the hunt with a month to go.
Here's the fun one for you before I let you go as well, is the player of the year. And Jess, you look at this league, and probably Rutgers has 2 of the top 3 picks in the NBA draft. And you look at Maryland today, and they got a kid that's going to go in the top 10. And the Yakachonis kid at Illinois, and maybe the Will Riley are both top 10, top 15 kids. So there's NBA talent, but then there's players of the year, and Braden Smith, he's probably not going to make a ton of money in the NBA someday. I don't know. But, like, he's probably the player of the year in the conference, or the Wolf kid at Michigan. Who's your conference player of the year in a conference that's got a ton of individual talent when it comes to the NBA side of things as well?
Well, I haven't looked at the overall stats for a week or so. So those 2 names that you mentioned are going to be right in the hunt. The guy that kind of jumps off the sheet to me, and I've watched 2 or 3 of their games, studying opponents and things, is Tanjay at Wisconsin. I mean, I covered him in the Mountain West when he was with Colorado State. And, again, it's the same thing we're talking about, the frustration. So he's at Colorado State, fits in perfectly there. Nico Medved, as Stevens as the point guard, Roddy as the forward. They had an NCAA tournament team a couple years in a row, I believe. And then Tanjay, because of the NIL situation, for him, he makes a good move, and I think he goes to Mizzou, and then gets injured. I thought he was done. I thought his eligibility was over, and then you turn on a Wisconsin game a week or 2 into the season, and you see his name, and you see these playing so well. So I think he's been such a massive impact for this team. And you mentioned Wolf. Wolf, 7-footer, basically playing point center, running pick and rolls, and then Smith has carried his team, and we're probably leaving out a couple guys. I'm not sure who that is, but these all conference teams, player of the year, coach of the year, they're going to be almost impossible to decide, unlike Edey has been the last few years, or Garza, when you just know it's theirs and there's no one even close to second.
If the NIL was around when you were around, where would have you and I mean, when it comes to what businesses, what places are hitting up Jess Settles? What is, go back to the Settles era, decade, if you will. What places would you have said that's would have been my NIL? That's what I was going to.
Well, I think I would have had a machine shed full of John Deere tractors by the time I was done playing. So I don't know. I think there probably would have been an agricultural angle there, which would have been a lot of fun. I'm not sure how it works. I don't ever think about it, and I'm glad that I did not grow up in that era. I had this conversation with Kent McCausland a while back, and I say the reason that I'm glad is because I can't stand people playing on 4 or 5 different teams and they're 4 or 5 different years. I always had the mentality that we come in, we're going to fight and train, and by our junior or senior year, we'll get it done together. And these kids have completely different opportunities for that. Someone like Caitlin, she deserves everything that she's gotten, and it's just been such a blessing for her and her family. So obviously that's at a whole different level. Most of these players, as we talked about a few years ago, most of them don't add much value as far as marketing products for businesses or local businesses. It's turned into just pay for play. That's what it's become. So who knows, right? On the open market back in the day, what I would have demanded or this and that. But there are really only a few players like Caitlin who move the needle like that. And by the way, when are we going to get the Nike shoes, the logo 3s from Caitlin? What is going on here, right? Man? Can you call your people at Nike and get this done? So these are interesting times, but I'm glad that I played when I played.
He is Jess Settles. He was a busy man this weekend. Got done with Nebraska and Northwestern on Sunday. Gets a day to kind of catch your breath, and then you're going to be in Ames on Tuesday. Jess, I say this to you every time, and I know you think I'm bullshitting you, but I'm not. You're one of the best to do it. I enjoy it. I love listening to you. Keep doing what you do, and thank you for being a good friend to me and coming on and doing this goofy little show I started. I always appreciate you.
No, appreciate it. Great job. I heard it's going really well for you. You're a great talent, and I might have to hire you to be my agent, man. I give you 11%.
I love it.
Thanks,
I love
brother.
it. Jess, appreciate you. He is Jess Settles, always one of the best to talk to, especially when it comes to Big Ten basketball. We're just getting started here on OTA on a Monday. Coming up, we're going to talk to another record setter, this time on the high school hardwood, Noah LaPorte from Princeton, and much, much more straight ahead right here on OTA.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air on a Monday here in the Quad Cities. It's a busy time of year, of course. February, March Madness is right around the corner. And along with this February frenzy comes a lot of milestones, a lot of records, especially on the high school hardwood. And one of them happened last week in Princeton, Illinois. And we're joined now by Princeton senior basketball standout, also Northwestern football recruit, Noah LaPorte, joining me right now. Noah, first and foremost, thanks for coming on my goofy show. I appreciate it.
I appreciate the invite. I'm always glad to sit down and talk with people. It's fun, talking with people.
No, it's awesome. And we're glad to have you because it was a big week. We mentioned this football stuff that you like to do at Northwestern soon and all that good stuff. We'll talk more about it. But pretty good basketball player, really good basketball player. And this past week or so, you became not just the boys' all-time leading scorer at Princeton, but you became the all-time boys or girls leading scorer. When you hear that, what goes into your mind first? What goes through your head first?
Craziness. The way it happened is I can't really describe how, especially the boys record. It was kind of crazy. Game-winning shot to beat a very good team, a very good Byron team with like 2 seconds left. I couldn't have drew up any better. It just seemed like a fake script when you tell people that. And then, obviously just having the teammates that I have, being with me, kids I grew up with and played with since 4th, 5th grade. It's been such a ride. And, I'm thankful for, sticking around playing with all of my buddies.
You get the boys one first. And you knock off a former teammate of yours, a buddy of yours.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about that because you played a lot of basketball with him up and through your sophomore year. He's playing up at Dubuque right now. But did you know you were getting close? And when you pass him up, is it a little bragging, a little congratulations? How does that work with a good friend and former teammate?
Playing with him and going against guys like that, like Tegan, Grady, all those guys, just practicing against them every day, that only got me better. And it was just, right after he broke the record, I broke the record, he congratulated me. And, I said I couldn't have done it without going against you guys every day in practice. I was a sophomore, so I was young, and that only made me better. And, it's a great feeling, just to have guys like that, support me, even though they're graduated, all those guys coming back and, congratulating me and telling me good job and all that. It's a great chemistry we had.
You said boys record first, came on a game winner. Did you know when you were knocking down the game winner, you were also becoming the boys' all-time leading scorer? Did you have that thought process? Because it's not like you were like, I make this shot and I become more worried about the game, I'm sure. But you knew at that point you were getting close.
Yeah. I told my coach, let me know if you're going to think I'm going to break it this game because I want my friends and family to all be in attendance. And, I talked to my coach early in the season. I'm like, Coach, there's just there's so many people asking me like when I'm going to break the record. And, it's kind of getting stressful for me. I was just like, I'm just here to win games. I'm not chasing this record. I'm here to win games. And, winning games is a lot better than, losing games. So I told my coach, I'm like, when you think I'm going to break it, you just let me know. So he called me the morning of and said, you got a chance to break it tonight. You need 27, I think he said. And he said, you haven't had one of these games in a while. I've been averaging like 20. So, it could happen. It could not. And it just, obviously that night it was meant to happen. And it was a great feeling. But, just winning games and everything, keeping my mind focused on going to the postseason and everything, it's something I've been trying to do. And obviously, with winning games comes these accomplishments that are happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good perspective as well. So you got to take every record, huh? You want to get that women's one, well, the girls one. You do that about a week later. To get both and to walk out of a place that maybe in 20 years people remember you as a football player, but to walk out with both records for now and time to build on those records has got to mean a lot as well.
Oh yeah, I mean it does. Definitely just not being known as a one-dimensional athlete, not just playing a one sport, doing football, baseball, basketball, doing it all. That's what I mean, I love playing all sports and it's great to do. And, hopefully the records do get broken later. I'd love to see that, see the record get broken by future PHS athletes. But to have my name at the top of the leaderboard is pretty special.
All right, you mentioned winning a lot, which is important to you. And the Tigers have been winning a lot of late, 7 straight victories. And the record isn't gaudy, I think 15-12-ish, something like that. It's not going to pop out at you, but there's a lot to be said about playing your best basketball at the right time of the year and all that kind of stuff. And it is that right time of year. Are you guys playing your best basketball as you get ready for an important stretch in the postseason right around the corner?
I think the best basketball is still yet to come. We're still building on things, but I think each game that we've been playing on this winning streak we have going is in the step in the right direction. And obviously, like you said, going to the postseason, this is when you want to be playing your best basketball, and it's just it's a great feeling, and we're confident going into the rest of the season.
So, Noah, you signed to play football at Northwestern, a fantastic high school football career. There's some athletes, and not for any bad reason, that would focus on that. You're a Division I Big Ten football recruit. Some would say, hey, basketball's a little funky. You roll an ankle, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
But you didn't do that. You kept playing the basketball and the other sports. Why was that important to you, that you continue to play the games that you love in high school while you can?
I think finishing out my high school career, those coaches, they've been through it before. They've been through high school, and they love multi-sport athletes. So, finishing out my senior year with all my buddies, playing all the sports that I can, I don't think I could just stop playing my senior year. All the sports I played for since I was however old. So, all the Northwestern coaches were encouraging, wanted me to go play and finish out my senior year. And I was like, yeah, I have to. I find so much joy in playing each and every sport. So.
No, I love that. I love that. But we will talk about Northwestern because they are next. They are soon. You make the short trip to Evanston, not a far change for you, your home state. We talked when you committed and made that decision about what it was for you that made it right. And I'm assuming these last months since that decision have only cemented that you made that good choice. What is it about the Wildcats and Northwestern that fits what Noah LaPorte wants to do at the next level?
I think the biggest thing is family. All those guys, as soon as I step foot on campus, all the coaches came up to talk to me. They're all reaching out to me over the cell phone, and then also my future teammates as well. I'm always talking with, even the guys who are in my class that enrolled early. I'm talking to them, seeing how their changes went from high school to college, because their transition was a lot quicker than mine. And I'm still talking with some of the guys. We play video games together. Just getting that. Even though we haven't met each other, a few of them we've met on like game day visits and everything. But other than that, I haven't met these guys face to face. But soon I'm gonna be best friends with these guys, and it's just a great chemistry that it's already bonding.
What does Noah LaPorte have to do between now and, I don't want to say freshman year, but when you start taking the field as a Big Ten football player, what are the things that you want to improve at, get better at, size, speed? What are the kind of things that you focus on as you get ready for a new level of football in the Big Ten?
I think obviously size definitely, that's definitely something that people would just look at me and, they'll just point out the obvious. But, I would say obviously that coming into the Big Ten and then understanding the game, definitely, just reading defenses, certain things like that, just being a student of the game when it comes to playing at the Big Ten level. And, all of those, size, speed, all that will come with hard work. And then, reading defenses and all that will come to, and that will slow down the game and make it a lot easier if I can get that studying.
Noah, if you need to put weight on, come to the Quad Cities, hang out with me for like a week. I can't. It's what I do best these days. I'm a 45-year-old fat guy anymore. I can't help it. I can't help you. Before we let you go, I got some rapid fire fun questions for you, but I want you to talk about the Princeton community, and I covered the area for almost 25 years and at WQAD, and I loved going out, especially the football stuff recently. I loved going out to Princeton on a Saturday for playoff football. It was one of my beats for 2 years that I got to go to. And I'm going to mess up the name of the place. I don't know if it's still open, but what's the place that's got the pies in Princeton? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Myrtle pies?
Yes.
Myrtle pies?
Yeah, something like that. Man, speaking of putting weight on, I came to you guys to put weight on, but it's a special community, is I think what I'm trying to get at. What makes that place, that city, that town, that school, that community so special that you've got to enjoy almost 4 years now?
I think it's just every sporting event, doesn't matter who you are, everyone's coming out to support the Princeton Tigers, and you know, it's there's no better feeling than having that whole town behind you. You know, there's we have a Tiger Central Live, so we broadcast the games. You know, some people may not be able to make the games, but they're watching on YouTube, and it's a great feeling having the whole community behind you, and playing for them is just very special.
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of my favorite communities when it comes to football, basketball, just high school sports in general. All right, you ready for the hard questions?
Yes, sir.
All right, if you could have dinner with any athlete, past or present, who would it be?
I think the first one that comes to my mind is Michael Jordan.
Good man.
Just an absolute stud, just a winner. You know how competitive he was. I love that, and I think that's the first.
Are you
first person that comes to mind.
a Michael over LeBron guy? Please tell me that.
I am. Yep.
It's so many young people don't realize that Mike is the GOAT. And so you've already I already liked you, Noah, and you just went up my list. Pre-game music for basketball. We'll focus on basketball since it's basketball season. What's that music, or is there any music that you got to listen to before the game while warming up to get you ready, to get you in the right mind to go score the most points in school history, I guess?
I'd say all my teammates, we usually have a big speaker playing. We listen to rap. So, I mean, anything that they'll put on, I'll listen to. But I'll listen to some rock as well if I have my own AirPods in.
Okay. All right. I like it. What's the most embarrassing moment you've ever had playing sports? It can be like when you were 5. It can be when you were like 7. It could be like last year. Is there an embarrassing moment that you're willing to tell us about while playing sports?
Freshman year, IC Catholic. It was our quarterfinal game, and one of our wide receivers got hurt, and I was sitting on the sideline. It was like it was 0. I mean, it felt like -20 out, and couldn't stand next to the heaters. And this is probably one of my most. It's I run a seam route, and I'm wide open. It's my first season of the game, and I didn't play offense the whole year. I only played defense when I was a freshman. Going in that game, wasn't expecting much playing time, especially on offense. Maybe defense, yeah. And I go in, and ball right to me, right in my hands. I drop it. Oop. I drop it, and that whole student section yelled Butterfingers. That was something. But I mean, other than that, I guess senior night, I missed a dunk. I tried to do a windmill. I missed it, but other than that, I mean,
at least the degree of difficulty was high with the windmill. You didn't just miss an easy one. You went for the big time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm going for the big time, especially when we're up by a lot.
I love it. All right, it's late at night, or you're on a road trip or whatever, and you got to stop by a gas station to eat / get a snack / get a meal. What's your go-to snack at a gas station if you have to stop by and get something to get you through to the next meal or whatever it may be?
I'll usually stop by Casey's, grab probably the popcorn chicken with the boomerang sauce, and then probably a big thing of chocolate milk.
Oh, I like the detail, the boomerang sauce. I like that. I like that you're thinking.
Oh, yep.
All right, last one for you. If you could change a rule in any sport, what rule it would be, and why? You can change any rule.
What rule? Ooh. That's a tough one. I'm trying to think.
I told you this is gonna be easy. I'm not loving
No, you're not taking it easy.
Yeah, right.
Definitely not. I'm trying to think. Baseball, basketball, football.
You can pass if you need to.
You got one? Do you have one?
I don't. That was well done. You turned the table. I like how you did that. I would stick
maybe
with
I'll
basketball.
learn something from you.
Since basketball is what we're kind of talking about in this time of year. I don't know. Are you or football wise, would you like to be able to, as a wide receiver or a tight end, get, I don't know, like a little more rules when it came to what DBs can get away with and not get away with? Maybe what can tight ends get away with? Maybe a little push off would be legalized. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something along those lines.
That'd be pretty sweet. But maybe basketball. Trying to think of a rule.
You can't get rid of a travel or anything like that.
No,
You got to keep.
no, definitely, yeah. I would say, I get a lot of maybe not a lot, but I get a decent amount of over the backs.
Okay.
Over the back call, because I'll jump someone.
Sure.
And it's.
How about this rule?
Maybe
if you try a windmill dunk and you miss it, you get a second chance.
that'd be pretty sweet.
Right?
I would try a lot more then, yeah.
There you get a do-over if you try a windmill dunk on senior night. I appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed doing this. Best of luck to you. First off, the rest of the way. I know the postseason's right around the corner and the Tigers are playing good basketball. So best of luck on the hardwood and best of luck at Northwestern. We'll keep tabs with you, and hopefully we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right. He is Noah LaPorte, senior standout for Princeton, the school's all-time leading scorer. Guys, girls, whatever. When it comes to basketball, Noah LaPorte is the leader at Princeton. He's going to go play football at Northwestern next season. Well, we have more to get to. It's a Monday on Off the Air. We'll be back right after this.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air here on a Monday in the Quad Cities, President's Day in the Quad Cities. It's been a fun show so far. Pat Angerer always joining us on Mondays. It's always Angerer on Mondays on Off the Air. He had a lot to talk about, including some poetry. Yes, that's right. Pat Angerer read some poems to us, so you'll want to check that out if you missed it. Also, Jess Settles joined us talking about the Illini and their tough Saturday night, both on the hardwood and then, of course, off the hardwood and the rafters, if you will, with the upside down banners. So also talked about Iowa's struggles as well, and then the Big Ten as a whole. So Jess Settles, fantastic as well. Go check him out as well. And of course, we just wrapped up with Noah LaPorte, Fantastic young man, very charismatic, very personable. Really enjoyed my conversation with Noah LaPorte. You can check that out if you missed it as well. Now, we mentioned it is President's Day, which means I am doing this show and I am parenting, I guess, 4 boys. Now, most of them left, which is nice, but back by popular demand, Carson Randazzo. Hey,
Cody
bud.
Dad's gonna be back.
I know it. I knew you were going to be back, and here you are. Did Mom get the toilet flushed or fixed?
No.
She didn't.
No.
I think she did.
I think she didn't.
There's a new toilet that's broken now.
Yeah.
But the old one that was bad, we got fixed.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm confused too.
It's already fixed.
Oh, the one downstairs is good. The one upstairs.
I didn't know.
That's what happens when you have 4 boys. But here's what I want to talk to you about. I don't want to talk to you about toilets anymore.
Okay,
Do you know what Wednesday is?
No.
You don't know what Wednesday is?
No.
Carson.
No.
What's February 19th?
Oh, I know.
What?
Mom's birthday.
Well, say it.
Mom's birthday.
Okay. So, do we have Mom a birthday gift yet?
Drive to the store.
Oh,
I need that.
Okay, but what are we going to get her? We got to get some ideas. Give me some ideas of what Mom would want for Christmas, for her birthday.
Starbucks gift card.
That's good. What else? How much money? How much money for?
For the gift card?
Yeah, how much?
120.
Random number, but a good number. What else can we get Mom for her birthday? What does Mom like? Do you know things Mom like?
I don't know her favorite candy.
You don't?
No, I don't.
What's her favorite things? What does she like to do?
She likes to...
You're not helping me too much.
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
How do I know?
But we got to figure something out. So this afternoon, that's our job, is to figure out what to get Mom for her birthday. Now, my next question for you. How old is Mom?
She's about to turn 42.
I think 41.
No.
No.
42.
Yeah, you're right. 42. You're right.
She kept saying that she was 19.
She did?
Yeah.
So she's kind of lying?
And then I said that. I said, and then like 5 minutes later I said, Mom, how old are you? And she said 41. I mean 40.
Yeah. So she was fibbing about being 19?
Yeah.
Why isn't Mom 19? Why don't you believe that?
'Cause she's not bigger than you, and nope.
Older.
She's not older.
Older. Don't say bigger. Older. You'll get yourself in trouble. All right. So, all right, we got to wrap it up with you. What are you going to do on your day off?
We get a day off tomorrow.
You're not going to get a day. Why would you get a day off tomorrow?
Maybe are.
Why? Too cold?
Yeah.
Do you have school outside or is it inside?
Inside.
It's inside, so you don't need to be off if it's just cold. Go inside and learn.
No. What about the windshield?
The windshield. I know. The windshield could be big. So, all right. We got to get Mom a birthday gift.
It's going to feel like negative 30.
Then maybe. Okay. Can you sing the song for me as we get ready to leave for the show?
No.
Come on. You did it last time.
No.
At the
end, and everyone heard it.
I know. Okay, so I'll wrap it up, and then you like do a little the song, okay?
No.
All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Not yet. If you missed any of it, Pat Anger, Jess Settles, and Noah LaPorte, you can go check it all out. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. I believe this was live on X as well. We figured that out. We're hearing that it actually worked out pretty good. So if you missed it, you can check it out on there and also on all of your podcast platforms as well. Look at you, Amon Ross St. Brown, sitting over there just hanging out. So, all right, that'll do it for today's show. We'll be back with a brand new episode of Off the Air tomorrow. Make sure you tune in and enjoy. Hit it, kiddo. You might be back. He might be back.
I might be sitting right here at the chair doing this.
Doing that. All right. Hit the song.
Dun, 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 dun.